The philosophy is per project because every house has an existing condition and it has an existing want or a need from the client. So we have to look at what the client wants, what they have to deal with to begin with, you know, the lot, the space, the house itself, and then build on from there. Size and shape and proportion and orientation and lighting and flow is all very important. It's all very abstract, but that's what makes a good design, when you can move through a space and feel like it's always been there. It looks like it from the inside and out that it should have been there.
Yeah.
He had started demolishing most of the inside of the two-story house here. When it came to laying out the spaces, he kind of got trapped, and the person he was working with didn't seem to come up with a solution properly. He found my name on signs all over the neighborhood, which have been around for 20 years, and he just called me by chance. I came over and met with him, found a very equitable solution that he was thrilled with, the inspectors are thrilled with, and we kind of reworked everything that he was planning on doing based on what he told me he was looking for. There was no way that we were going to match the brick. And if you look closely, the color of that addition is in the same kind of line as what the mortar is for the brick. And it kind of blends in that respect, but yes, it was intended to be a completely different material. So when you have an addition that is actually more square footage than the house itself, it's important to keep the elevations low enough and the breakup of each of the wall expanses short enough so that the primary part of the house still looks primary. And this still, even though it's an enormous amount of square footage, it still looks like it belongs as a back end and it's not taking over any of the hierarchy of the front porch. Well, the primary issue he needed to have solved was to have a direct entry from the second floor hallway at the end of the stair over to the third bedroom, which was an addition. And the rest of the house was taken up with bedrooms and bathrooms. So fortunately, with the ceiling heights being generous, there was a bridge that was able to be made over the stairway that you could walk a few steps up over the bridge and a few steps down back to the same elevation of the second floor into the master suite. The way the fireplace was ultimately constructed was totally the owner's. He looked and looked and looked, and we talked about it, and we talked about mantles and no mantles, and I asked him, what is it that you want to see when you're there? And he thought about it enough to say, I don't want to see anything. And he found this tile, and the tile is interesting enough that it serves as a piece of artwork. The joints are very narrow. If you look at the grout joints, they're very narrow in that one particular place. And it really, in my opinion, it really does satisfy my artistic eye of looking at it. I don't get bored with it a single bit. So the spatiality between the stove and the sink and the counter space, plenty of counter space, is appropriate. And there was some space left over, which made a second little area for another countertop independent, where appliances and things that you need on top of the countertop can be stored without being seen. There's a whole other set of storage back there, another ability to sit at a counter and look out the window for coffee on top of this dining space right here. The density of the kitchen is all on one side. The refrigerator and the wall ovens and the cabinetry is all on one side. The other side is open with just open shelves for the things that you reach and grab on a daily basis. And that was done on purpose, just to keep the lightness of the kitchen available. I like the size and shape where one person or 10 people can be in the living room and they still feel like they're gathered, where there's no palatial, too big of a feeling. I really like the showers that are open, where you can see daylight coming in from the shower, even though most of it's a wall and it has all your shampoos and that on the wall. It's still open above so that there's light and air coming in and it's not all steamy. I like the idea that the toilet is in an alcove that has its own window, There's no door. It's completely clean. You don't have to touch any hardware before you wash your hands. And it's spaced so that you have privacy while you're at a sink and you have privacy while you're in a toilet. And it's still a large room. Part of the connection between the original building and the addition is that the original building has a gambrel type shape, and that was a little bit mimicked to the back end of it, so that the two buildings, the two parts of this could be a whole. When you look all the way around and you see the size and shape of what's happening, it uses the same language and the same character. He put the finishes on the front porch were the remnants of what he had available. And the tile work on the floor is beautiful. His ability to alternate different colors of tile is very artistic. He just added to it, and he put extra flooring up on the ceiling. And just as an FYI, when you look around in here, every single surface of this house has been exposed to studs. All the drywall is new, all the trim is new, and when you look at it, the type and size and shape of the trim goes back so that when you look at the house, it really seems like this is a 1926 trim. The contractor is very proud of that, but everything is brand new.